Making good progress.
Well, good evening and welcome to this meeting, final meeting of the year of the Recreation and Amenities Committee. This meeting is being recorded for publication on the Thatcham Town Council YouTube channel. Good evening. Item 1, apologies for absence.
Jeremy.
So we've got Jeremy,
Steve Adair Water and Paul Field.
Jeremy Cotton, did you catch that?
yeah, we've got Jeremy, yeah.
Councillor Dillon subbing, or shall I go?
Oh,
Yes, I've got stuff to do.
yes, Councillor Dillon is subbing for, yeah, we got that.
You're subbing for Jeremy, I believe.
Councillor Cotton, yeah.
Oh, sorry.
I reckon
Declarations of interest, anybody? Moving on. Minutes of the meeting of the 21st of November.
Proposed.
And second, yeah, all those in favour? Thank you. Matters arising therefrom?
Nothing. Some work in progress, but nothing to raise.
Thank you. So on to income and expenditure.
Okay, members should have seen all these reports. So I'll just guide straight through. If anybody wants to raise anything, please let me know.
Okay. Councillor Jeffrey.
Mr. Chairman, there are a couple of items. Very usefully, I sent an email about an hour ago to the clerk of the council. So I'm sure that tomorrow she'll be able to respond to it. Items that I just wanted to question. So I was trying to be really clever and give a heads up. So the answer just comes swinging straight back. And I'm now going to actually find it because it's, which page is it?
Would you like me to, I did get that email. She was highly efficient and passed that on to me before the meeting. There were two questions.
That's right.
One of them was safe play.
That's right.
Which was a rather large bill, which I'll come through later in here. But and that was for repairs to the cable runway at Pound Lane.
Yeah.
Which was amounted to £474. And the other one was a whole mixture of different repairs across the pay park, which the town clerk approved. That was £1,962. Did you want any more detail on those?
Chairman, I really do apologise because the penny has finally dropped. We're actually, at the moment, we're doing where the budget is, and I've actually picked up two things that are actually in the payments.
Checks at the back.
So please forgive me, and we'll do it the proper.
Yeah, okay, we'll do it
when we come to it, which
Yep.
is several items yet, isn't it?
I have that information for you though, so.
Thank you, Mark.
Okay.
Right, so following this through then, detached youth work. Budget. Through Birdwood. Stop me if any questions. Frank Hutchins, Community Hall. The Moors Workshop. Pavilion, pitches. Cemetery. Church. Areas. Spaces. And that's it, RNA projects.
Any questions or comments on that?
I don't think there's any change Sorry, Jake, I don't think there's any change from last meeting anyway, because that was month 8 anyway. So.
Yeah. Good. Don't need to do anything with that then, do we? So
No,
moving on to environmental working party, receive and consider the minutes from the 30th of November. Any questions on that one?
Mr. Chairman, it's not really a question, but if you go to the very final minute, you'll notice that my colleagues have actually very generously said, because I find it so difficult to get in on a Wednesday, that they have tried to look to rescheduling to a Thursday, and I have sent a response, and I think we are going to go to the Thursday.
Okay, thank you.
Dramatic news for the people of Thatcham. I would imagine the collective breath is being held.
Propose adoption, Chairman.
Thank you. Do you have a second for that? All in favour? Thank you very much. CCTV permitted user agreement. Do you want to?
yes, members are probably aware that we have, there's 3 CCTV columns in the Broadway that have a range of different cameras on them. We actually hire or have an agreement in place for using those, because they actually belong to West Berkshire Council. That agreement has expired, so this is the new agreement, which is very similar to the other one.
That's a call.
Sorry, Chair. Can I ask Mike, what are the differences and if it's very similar?
I think that there was a schedule missing from the end. That was all which maps out. If I can just through these. I think the only thing that was different was the schedule was updated at the back.
Location of the polls.
Yeah, that's which is there. Wasn't part of the original agreement, but I understand this is good to go.
I recommend renewal then, Jack.
Thank you. Do we have a second for that? Thank you. All in favour? Thank you very much. All good.
Still need to also name, I think it's 2 people to do the signing. Would you like to be one of them? Do you want to be lumped with it? Would you like to have the honour and privilege of being a signatory? And if so, who else would like to join?
I'd be delighted, Councillor Chair. Do we have another potential signatory?
I'll volunteer if nobody else wants. No.
Do that at the end of the meeting.
Yes.
Sorry to take the lifeline.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Moving on to CCTV camera replacement.
Okay, well, unfortunately, one of our cameras has gone down. If you look at the screen at the top, it's the one here that's opposite the Broadway public conveniences. The show, of the report. Well, facilities manager has gone through this, and yeah, basically it's a PTZ camera which enables you to pan, tilt, and zoom. We're reactive in how we manage the CCTV data, as in something happens. We don't have anybody sort of sitting there looking at it on a constant basis, so it's historical data that we process, although there is potentially an option for the police to come in and zoom in potentially on a certain piece if they ever wanted to. I'm not aware that that's ever happened. So so what you've actually got then is two options on this. So you either replace a PTZ camera, which is what we've got now, or you combine 4 cameras together to cover off each of the positions that those PTZ camera does, which is two different options. Unfortunately, the costs are slightly higher. These were verbal costs given to try and get this in the meeting because it just broke down. So basically to replace with the same camera has come out at £5,372, which is very expensive, but it's very high tech stuff, and it covers quite a big proximity of the top of the Broadway. The alternative one is that you have static view cameras, so 4 static view cameras, all pointing in needed directions that get converted to back here. So you end up with the same coverage, but they're not the same control. I think that's really the best way to explain it, and that's much cheaper. That comes out actually at £2,289.07.
Councillor Cole.
Thank you, Chair. If this PTZ facility is hardly ever used, especially bearing in mind the rather large pressures we've got on budget this year, even though we've got it in rolling capital fund, but rolling capital fund has to be replaced every year from some source, so it's got to come out of next year's budget. If it's not going to result in anything that we don't have at the moment because we don't use the PTZ facility, I would take the view that the 4 static cameras would do the job just as well and at half the cost.
3K less.
Yes. Councillor Pike.
Thank you. I wouldn't use the word much cheaper. I would use the word less extortionate.
Yeah.
Because I'm not entirely clear quite why it's that expensive, but I remember other councillor Cottam has commented on cameras in the past. So I just wondered if you could have a quick chat with him before proceeding to see if it's.
Just one thing to add on this. Obviously, the facilities managers are recommended to opt for the cheaper option. But one obvious thing to me is that if one of those 4 cameras goes down, you just replace that one camera. Where the current situation is, you pay £5,000 for one that brings all that together. So that's probably another consideration to think of.
So yeah, the cheaper option is more flexible in that respect. Yeah,
got redundancy.
Comes through you to
Jeffrey.
what you're making the comment that if it went down, then obviously that's dramatically different, isn't it? But what sort of guarantees do we get? You know, is this 3 months from installation, or is that 4 or 5 years or something that they're going to?
I think it will be 1 year or 2 years. I'd need to check that. But yeah, you have a product guarantee, and then you'd have a manufacturer's guarantee.
Yeah, Chairman, if I may, I'm going to second Councillor Cole's proposal.
Thank you. All those in favour? Oh, this is the cheaper option we're going for. Yeah.
Less extortionate.
Yes, less extortionate.
Less extortionate. Less extortionate.
Thank you.
600 cameras.
Thank you.
Thought we could press a couple, couldn't he?
Okay, so item 9, community project fund applications.
Yes, absolutely. So yeah, the first one then is from the Newbury Road Club, which promote the benefits of cycling across West Berkshire. They've requested £250 towards a gazebo, replacement gazebo, which I believe went over in the Thatcham Fun Day. They're putting in, well, it's £1,250. The club are putting in £1,000, and they've made a request from the community fund for £250.
Chairman, strikes me as being entirely reasonable. I propose that we accept that.
Thank you. Councillor Cole.
Can I put a small caveat on? With all of these, we have an arrangement with Green Trust whereby they match our 17,000 of main grants That 17,000 at the moment is not fully committed. Therefore, I have been talking to Deputy Clerk, who was trying to get one of the previous ones that came to this committee, the Draft Busters, match funded by Greenham. So with the caveat of all of these, before we confirm, could we check with Trudy that actually we can or can't push these through Greenham, and then I would suggest at your discretion, Chair, or yours and some other discretion, another discretion, combined, either to look to £125 or £250, which would then be match funded.
Okay, that sounds a good idea.
Other than that, I agree with Councillor Jeffries.
My proposal has just been modulated, and I'm happy with that.
That's fine. Yeah. So subject to the match funding. Do we have a?
Sorry, I was just going to say, the third one, Thatcham United Reformed Church. I'm assuming that members have looked through all of these. This particular one is for the winter, providing warmth, drinks, etc., for people in need. So if it was to go out for much funding, I'm not sure how long that would take. But I was just thinking, due to the climate, look at that differently.
But it's excellent project. I think it's the art of the possible.
Yeah, absolutely. Have we had any requests for any of the other warm spaces? Because there was a range of them across the town, weren't there?
How about the others that's applied?
Okay. Fair enough. Well, we can certainly give that one priority. Okay, so where are we with the proposal? So I think subject to the
Proposed and seconded on Newbury Road Club.
Okay, right. Okay, all those in favour of the Newbury Road Club one? Thank you.
50% following requests for match funding.
I think
it could be either way around, couldn't it? It could be doubled or halved, I guess.
I would suggest, Chair, that's left to yours and the Vice Chair's.
Okay.
Discretion is given by this committee for you to make the final decision.
Happy to do that.
Some of these which are fairly obvious, the blue plaque is, or the plaque, sorry, is a fairly obvious one that if we can get match funding, because it's defined cost. Whereas the gazebo is the 250 max, and therefore we may be able to do 250, or we may be able to do 500 if match funded by Greenham, but we can't make that decision because we don't know what the results of.
Okay, so we need to
with Greenham. So
need to liaise with the deputy town clerk who's looking into that. Then
There's two.
but sorry, Councillor Pike.
I was going to say that the gazebo is unlikely to be urgent.
Yeah. Probably not doing a lot with it at the moment.
Blown away by the wind.
But to be concluded.
Perhaps I should make sure perhaps we should specify that they buy plenty of points to go with it. That's a bit blown away.
That one's approved, isn't it?
Yes, so the third one, I guess. Do we want to vote on the third one? We've just discussed it, but
I would certainly that if we're on to three, but
yep.
have we done two? Sorry, Chair, or have you taken three first?
It just got a little bit out of order there. Okay, let's take it in order. Okay, so the Old Blue Coat School charity, £200 for the plaque for Bobby Collinswood.
The Blue Coat School would not be there, or would be in a horrible, dilapidated condition were it not for Bobby's intervention. Councillor Jeffrey will tell me, but 30 odd years ago, 25 years ago, she almost single-handedly drove the saving of what is now one of our key assets in the historical assets in the town. So I would certainly think that I would be very supportive of a plaque to record her efforts in that regard.
Chairman, I would certainly second that, but I'll also just throw in a little bit of ephemera. And the ephemera is, I was at that time the executive member that was responsible for getting it passed over to the town council, which then passed it on to the trust. So I was actually the West Berkshire Council executive member who for strategy and commissioning, and that fell to me to do.
If Councillor Jeffrey doesn't mind, Chair, I won't be proposing to add his name to the bottom of the.
I was assuming I was going to have it.
Deserving as he may have been.
No, definitely not. It was definitely work. Absolutely.
I mean, sounds extremely worthy, doesn't it? And we're doing our best to commemorate the important influential characters of the town with plaques through the heritage group. So I think we should support this one as well. Definitely. So all in favour of that one? Thank you. So no, that brings us to the United Reformed one. So, and I think we've pretty much covered that. So can we take a vote on that?
Proposed, yeah.
Thank you. All in favour? Brilliant, thank you. So moving on to incidents, which there have been none.
Logged by the town council.
Yes.
There's actually been two, but it didn't seem to make it into the combined file that were on here. Graffiti on a picnic bench in Dunstan Green, which has been cleared off, and there's some obscene graffiti that was there for a while ago for the pavilion, which I think is off by about was off by about 85%. But Kent is still trying to get, the facilities manager is still trying to get a contractor in to do a little bit more on the roller shutters. That's the current status.
Right, thank you. Anybody have anything else on incidents?
Proposed noted.
Thank you. All those in favour? Thank you very much. So the next item on play park inspection reduction, and understand this item's been heard now. To gather some more information in the background.
Chairman, is it helpful if one suggests that maybe a working party of yourself and maybe two other councillors to work with the services manager and so on, just to get to the bottom of the nitty-gritty of what can be done?
Yes, thank you. I believe our leader has asked for a group. So I think it's probably going to be Lee and Mel, and I don't know whether we need to go into any more formality on that. Mike?
I don't think we need to, Chair, because it's just ongoing information that and a recommendation, and that's part of the work of the council is officers and councillors talking. It was only to say that given the budgetary implication that at the moment we have a quite substantial shortfall projected next year on the budget, and at the moment in the budget is the lower figure. So if we did go to the higher figure, that's going to have even more of an implication on the shortfall from next year's budget.
We need to find difference
Reserve, which is a very long way round of saying I would very much like to be part of that conversation if I could, please.
Yes,
I think something like this needs to be driven by the budget. In fact, I think exactly the opposite. But it does have implications then on the budget. So I would like to be involved if I could, please.
Right, absolutely.
And me as well, because of the health and safety policy side, which I've been looking at.
Okay. Thank you. So I think we have volunteers for a working party, be it formal or informal. I think we'll we'll take that offline and set something up for that.
Proposed, Chairman.
Thank you. Do we have a seconder? Thank you. All in favour? Thank you very much. Approval of payments. Okay,
thing on the statement that you wanted to bring out, do you want me to cover the two areas again?
Sorry, if you please.
Yeah, so in terms of safe play,
Remind me of the page. Was that 3009?
it's towards the back,
I
safe play.
yeah, the page number, because
Yes, it's the cable runway, that's the zip wire. The zip wire at Pound Lane. There's a cost there for £474. That was a service of the unit where they take it to bits completely and inspect it. And do like a sort of MOT certificate for each element of it. That's quite high risk, that particular area. When you think about children swinging down on there, but that's something that comes up every year as part of the annual inspection. They request an additional inspection of it actually sort of taking the bit and make sure it's functioning properly. Play park equipment repairs. There were several that were carried out. So things like fixings, kicker plate at the skate park, fixings, the teenage shelter, the roof of the shelter over at Dunstan Green.
yes,
Was starting to break away from the roof was actually breaking away from the unit due to rust. So that's all been sort of re-riveted and put back together because you've got some wind underneath it because it's quite old. A basket swing also at Kennet Heath. That's the big one with the chains. There's no detail exactly what that was. So probably chains on the invoice, chains and shackles, etc. On those. Swing repair at Moorside. Another basket swing repair at the Moors. So those typical sort of repairs, shackles, chains, bushes, etc., which go dependent on use. So those are picked up throughout the year. And there was also some painting to the skate park. That's the whole of the ramps on the skate park. We have that done twice a year. It's like an anti-slip coating which paints up all of that. Also covers all any graffiti at the time. But that's a requirement for those two. And I believe the other question related to Thatcham Cricket Club, Town Cricket Club, and whether they pay water.
that's right. Yes,
For water, and they do. I've gone through the previous invoices, and they are charged a percentage of the water bill for the site.
so forgive me, Chairman. So although it appears as a charge to us, which I suppose technically it is because it's our bit of land and all the rest of it,
Yeah.
that money is going to be actually paid at the end of the day by Thatcham Town Cricket Club because it's water.
The last invoice that I found on the system was about £600. So considerable money. So just going through these in Hague. So you've got playground inspections there for the month, surface repairs, Kennet Heath. There's on there.
Chairman, can I just go one back? The £600 water bill for the cricket club. Do you think that was to do with watering the pitch?
It was whatever. I don't know. I don't know.
Seems an awful lot of.
It was quite an early. I think it was out of season actually. So I don't think that was.
No.
But I mean, they've got. I think there was over there. They've got bars. They've got water. They've,
Very thirsty job, obviously.
potentially.
Thank you.
So yeah, if you want to pull out any of these, then obviously let me know. There's various checks that have come through. SDK, that's the pest control, rats at the allotments.
We're charging them.
Work to the chapel is another one. Some decorating and repair work. Looking good.
Can I ask what the stage bus is?
Where is that? Sorry, what was that?
I'm not quite sure if you've done it. Got 3093 at the top.
Which, line 3, that's the next page. Hang on a second. Me.
Station plus.
It's the stage for the lights.
Oh,
Yeah,
of course.
Christmas lights. They had a band, didn't they? That was on the stage. It was all battery.
Oh, lovely.
Came in, set up
Stage bus.
like a trailer. This
Right, yes, of course.
storage container actually on top of of us. Clever. Yep.
Yeah, on that page,
This page we're currently on.
yeah. I can't help wondering why we are making a donation to the International Otter Survival Fund. There are a number of these that I see through the year of various organisations that we subscribe to, and I'm never quite sure on what basis we do that. There's IOSF, page 9 of 9, middle of it.
3094.
Would you like me to inquire?
Yeah, if
I
you-
was going to suggest that I think we all probably ought to have a list of the organisations that we are members of, because individually small amounts, but they do add up. Another one of the notice.
Yeah, absolutely. And then,
The Open Spaces Society, and they're things that we need to be able to justify probably.
then maybe they're for historical reasons, we've
Yeah.
just got overlooked, yeah. I mean, if you could come up with a list of those, that would be great, thanks, Mike.
And could I ask what a wee screen is?
A what?
Is it a small screen, is it?
We screen, right. Premier Support Services, that is for the Broadway toilets. And these are, what you used to have is like pineapple tubes that went into the urinals.
Oh, yes.
Typically, and this is like a mesh
Gosh.
that goes in there, and it makes the whole room smell a lot nicer than it would be if you didn't. So that's an improvement, an optional improvement.
Thank you.
Good improvements.
It's quite educational coming to these.
Oh, it's amazing.
I'm asking them.
Totally amazing.
Leave on that note, that's it for that one.
Thank you.
Can propose approval of the payments.
Thank you. Do you have a second? All those in favour? Thank you very much. And that brings us to the reports by council appointees. Friends of Thatcham Library. I don't have much to report. They did have a Christmas coffee morning on Saturday, but unfortunately I was unable to be there. I believe the mayor attended. And we are planning to meet up with them in January to talk about future directions and ways that the town council can support the library. So moving on to Hennick JMC.
I don't think it's met since we had our last meeting was relatively recent. It hasn't met since then, or I think we might have. I probably haven't seen the minutes from that meeting, but I think I reported on it last time. This one's one thing there that it's taking an extremely long time. It had been agreed probably a year ago that West Berkshire Council would develop a master plan for the use of the field. It'd be before any work on improvements and enhancements. That has still not started.
Not started.
Not started.
Good grief.
Who needs to be chased for that?
Well, that goes through Paul Hendry, so he's aware of it, but it's not his department who does it.
Right, okay.
It's another department that doesn't do it.
We can trace up at all. Kennet Leisure Centre JSC, I don't think that's ever met.
It's a mystery, isn't it, this one?
Really is, yeah. Blue Coats. That's
They
Jeremy.
have their AGM. but that's about it. I
Okay,
think Jeremy reported on
yeah, I think so. Nothing from.
that. So I can't talk really.
Yeah. Councillor Cole Memorial Foundation.
Nothing really to report since last month, Chair.
Thank you. Anything from the parish hall?
It held a committee meeting which I was unable to attend because I had a clash, but I don't know the outcome of it yet.
Cool. No John Boyd for the cricket club, or Christine or Paul. So that being so, I think that brings us to the end of our business today. So thanks very much indeed.
Thank you.
You should be chair.
So smooth, so. I think it was the new top you're wearing.
Almost certainly.